Hi guys, this is Beth from Oracle Daphne. I am doing this video for all the ladies and a few, a few mentions to the guys, but this is really for the ladies. There's a book, I believe it's called The History of the Wandering Uterus, and it changed my life when I read it. It is something that you need to look up. Something I can try. I'll post on my channel so you guys can find it. I'm not sure how to do that. Maybe I'll do a tag or something. But basically, it's a great book for women, mothers, who have young teenage daughters. This is something that they should be reading. You should be telling them, because this is stuff that I did not learn from my mother. I wish I had, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. The most important thing, especially if you have young girls, this is for women of all ages, but it's good to, if you have young daughters that are, maybe, early teens, this is a great, I guess, suggestion for you to do for them, to start helping them learn about the female cycle, okay? So this is kind of a video about the period, okay? The monthly, dreaded, and it doesn't have to be, period, okay? So the first thing I want you guys to do, I want you to get a planner, okay? This is the planner that I use on a daily basis. It was, I think, $5 at Barnes & Noble, $4.99 at Barnes & Noble. I talked about this in another one of my videos, so I wanted to show you that, guys. This is step one, okay? Go and get a planner, something that you can carry in your purse that's light, that has the monthly, basically the monthly moon cycle. The most important thing is the moon cycle, okay? So this one, this is October, okay? The moon cycle, this says full moon here, and then this says new moon here. And I want to talk to you guys about your cycle. Because in the day and age of hormones, hormone replacement, and I'm specifically talking about women, young women who are on birth control. I can meet older women too that are still on birth control. This is really important for you to know. You may already know this, but I'm just sharing this because I think it's important for people to really see it, like I've learned it and the way I see it. Okay, so where this is really coming from is, I guess thousands of years ago, when there was no paper calendar, people looked at the phases of the moon. And there's a lot of debate online about watching the moon for your monthly period, okay, and the moon cycle. But the best way that I can explain it, and the best suggestion that I have, and the thing that has really worked for me, is to get a calendar like this and mark on your calendar where the full moon's going to be. So in October, the full moon is going to be on the 8th, okay? And the new moon is going to be on the 23rd, okay? Now, there's a term called the pregnant moon. So I want you to, wherever you guys are in your cycle, I want you to make note. On the full moon, I want you to think that you're ovulating on that day. That day, you're ovulating, okay? So, and then on the new moon, and today's actually a new moon. So today is, the moon is completely dark today. So it's August 25th, so this is why it's the new moon, okay? And traditionally, American Indians had their period on the new moon, the dark of the moon, okay? And so on the day one of your period, and this goes for women who are not on the pill, because the pill cycles it for you, okay? But you might want to do this anyways, just to see how it looks on paper, okay? So day one of your period, let's just say we were in the most typical women's cycle. should fall on or around the new moon. And you'll notice if you ask women, like right now, you could have your period right now. Your friends could have their period right now. Yesterday they could have gotten their period, or tomorrow they could get their period. Anytime during this basically this week here, this is when women typically will have their period, okay? And this is during the dark of the moon, okay? So I want you to go in and I want you on your calendar to mark starting day 1 of your period, okay? So you might mark your calendar day 1 on the 22nd, okay? Day 1, right? My pen's not working. You can't see it. Hang on one second. Okay, so I just marked it. Okay, so day one here. And I want you to count 14 days from there. So you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I think the 14th day is going to be Tuesday the 28th. Okay. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sorry, the 14th day is going to be the 5th. Okay. And I want you to make note that this is when you're going to be ovulating. Okay. Sometime during this full moon phase, near the full moon, you're going to be ovulating. So make a little note, OV or something, whatever note you need to take. That's when you're going to be ovulating, okay? And then you don't really need to count farther, but you can continue to count 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 28, 29, 30, I usually mark on my calendar period expected on or around the 28th day. 29th, some women have a longer, it's 30 days, so you can mark it at 30 day, or, it can be either the 28th, 29th, or 30th. Okay, you can mark that, all right? And that should fall on, again, the new moon of the following month. So so now you know that's the cycle of the moon. And if you're following this and you're going through your calendar every month and you're marking day 1 of your period, counting 28, 29, or 30 days to your expected period, that's your cycle. That's your monthly cycle. And the first 14 days leading up until you ovulate, okay, your body is dominantly, the hormones that are dominant are estrogen. Amongst progesterone and testosterone, it's dominantly estrogen. And then after you ovulate, the estrogen drops and progesterone increases. And the lining of your uterus builds up, and then it continues to build up. Progesterone increases until you have your period, okay? And then after that, estrogen increases again, and so it goes up and down and up and down. But there's this drop in estrogen just after you ovulate. And so that drop can cause migraines, serious PMS, irritability. So that's why PMS starts, about 2 weeks before you have your period, because that's the drop of estrogen around day 14. Now, for women with a little bit of a longer cycle, it could be day 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 sometimes. It just depends on where you at, the hormones that you have that are going on in your body and where you're at with your cycle. I'm telling you this because when you go on the pill, when I'm talking about the pill, it's birth control, okay? When you go on the pill, there is no progesterone. And even if it's a low dose estrogen that you're getting continuously, it's still messing with your ovulation cycle, okay, and your hormonal cycle. And a lot of women don't realize what they're doing when they take this pill. And I'm talking about this from a personal perspective because a lot of young women, I went on the pill when I was 18, and when I went off the pill, I didn't have a period for 6 months. And I started to learn about herbs and medicine. And I didn't start to really understand the cycle until much later. So, I mean, I was in my late 20s when I learned and started to follow my cycle. Yes, I would write down when I had my period, in my, maybe in my calendar or mark it someplace, but it was never actually really paying attention. So I'm saying this, I want you guys to pay attention to your cycle, all ladies. Because if you're paying attention to your cycle, you're paying attention to your body and what your body needs. And the rest that you might need. So 2 weeks before you have your period, you might need a lot more rest. You might be more hungry. You might need to eat a lot more vegetables. You might need to eat more red meat if you're not a vegetarian and you eat meat. So I also wanted to talk about if you're having any difficulty around the time of your ovulation. So women a lot of times typically have problems around the ovulation or right up getting up to their period or during their period. Those are the typical problems women have. So I'm speaking about the 14 days before you ovulate, how things could kind of go wrong during that time. If you don't have enough estrogen in your system, which for a lot of women, this is for more women who are older, this is where your issue is. You don't have enough estrogen. And so your body starts to have, sweats and, hot flashes and all kinds of stuff. If you're following a cycle, even if you're following the moon cycle and you don't have a period anymore, you can still take the good balancing herbs in the first half of the month or even continuously. But I recommend in the first half of the month, the first 14 days, 15 days, 16 days, around then. And for younger women who have either gone off the pill and are having a difficult time getting pregnant because they have a problem during the second half of the month, which they don't have enough progesterone. So in our society, we have young women who have a difficult time getting pregnant because they don't have enough progesterone, and older women who have a difficult time just enjoying their quality of life because they don't have enough estrogen. So what do we do? What's the answer? So that's why I'm doing this. During the first 14 days, for the women who are older, who are going through menopause or they have started to go through menopause or they just want to balance out their hormones, you want to focus on phytoestrogens. You want to focus on, for your diet, you want to focus on cruciferous vegetables, and I can never say it quite right. We're talking broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, spinach, and kale. Kale is so huge right now, it's like a fad, but kale is also very beneficial for our system. But mostly it's the cruciferous vegetables, the cauliflower, the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts. Okay? There's a product that I want you to go out and buy. It's called a DIM. It stands for dimethicono something, something, and something. And it's really just what's in those cruciferous vegetables. So I also want you to take that product and I want you to really focus on doing your research on phytoestrogens and herbs that help with estrogen balance, okay? And there's different ones. There's a lot of different ones. There's an herb that is called black cohosh, and there's an herb called dong quai, and there's an herb called, um, well, I'm taking this stuff called yarrow, which really helps your uterus and also helps with estrogen levels. So yarrow is very, very nourishing for the female system all during the month. So ladies who are older, they might want to look this up. This is a great product. Um, it's made a huge difference. But the dim, if you haven't taken the dim, that's the number one thing. And changing and adding those vegetables in. And researching phytoestrogens. And researching, oh, there's a dragonfly in my window. That's pretty. Researching those powerful, strong herbs and taking them the first 14 days, just maybe until after the full moon of the month. And then for ladies who are having a difficult time with their progesterone levels, I suggest you take a look at this product. It's called Maca. And Maca is known for the ability to help your body produce more progesterone. You can take it, like you can actually mix it into smoothies. You could take it in this form. I think you could even take it in the capsule form. But for women who are having a difficult time with their fertility, for fertility women specifically, I want you to do both. I want you to take the yarrow, okay? I want you to change your diet, add those vegetables in, and take the dim during the first 14 days. And then the second half of the month, I want you to take the maca. And I also want you to take the motherwort, okay, during the second half of the month. Now, the motherwort, I know the motherwort is, it's called motherwort because it's for women, okay? It's an herb that's for women. And there are other herbs as well. So I'm not going to go into all the possible herbs, but this video is really about helping you expand your understanding of what's happening during your cycle. Why you're not as fertile as you want to be, number one. If you're trying to get pregnant, why you're not as fertile. What is the holdup? Well, typically women who are trying to get pregnant after they've been on the pill have too much estrogen in their body and not enough progesterone. Their body has stopped producing progesterone. And progesterone is the hormone. It stands for progest. It's that hormone that helps your body through the duration of pregnancy and prepares your body for pregnancy. So if you don't have that, then you're going to have a problem. A lot of women who are overweight, because of this, it causes problems. So not only do they need to focus on taking stuff that's going to help during the first 14 days and getting them to ovulate, the estrogen, the good estrogens, but they also need to focus on the second half of the month and taking the herbs that are good for progesterone. The other thing that is very good for women who are trying to get pregnant is evening primrose oil and vitamin E. Those two in combination are really very powerful, but evening primrose alone is very, very powerful. And then for women who are having PMS and they're having the headaches, they're the ones who are just having PMS, say they're not trying to get pregnant, maybe they've already had kids, but they're not in menopausal yet, or maybe they're just young women, they're just trying to get through their period in a sort of sane fashion. I want you to take the herbs. There's an herb called sarsaparilla, and there's an herb called milk thistle. During the time that you are most closest to ovulation, so during, say, day 12 or 13 through day 15 or 16, I want you to take sarsaparilla and milk thistle. And if you do that, that's going to help you get through ovulation. You're not going to have the headaches. You're not going to have the body aches, the sweats, the craziness, okay? And then just before you have your period, okay, I want you to take some of this maca, okay? I want you to take some of this maca, and I want you to focus on taking herbs that are going to help, calm you down, okay, and just get you through your period. Cramp bark is a great herb. Partridge berry is a great herb as well. I wish I had more of them here. I don't have them all here. If you feel like you're having serious problems during the ovulation time, take the dim. Take the dim. That'll even things out as far as getting you through ovulation. Like I said, for each woman, it's going to be different. Their cycle's going to be different. But also, if you look on your calendar and you go, okay, the day that I'm ovulating, I have a really important meeting, or the day that I'm supposed to get my period, I have a really important meeting, then that's the day you pack your purse with extra tampons and extra pads. That's the day that you take some extra herbs to make sure that you get through the period okay. That you're prepared. I think in our society, I think that people don't want to talk about progesterone, and people don't want to talk about estrogen either. There's this huge split in what women know and what women are told. And so there's a lot of women who are very confused. They're very confused about, well, what is estrogen exactly? And what is progesterone exactly? And how is my body even functioning? Okay, so to go back, estrogen is a hormone that helps your body, your body go through the ovulation cycle. You have 2 ovaries, and one or either of them, or sometimes both, will produce an egg. It'll just pop out an egg, and if that egg isn't fertilized by sperm, then your body has a period to get rid of it, okay? So progesterone is what builds the lining of your uterus, which is like a V, okay, in your stomach, or not in your stomach, I shouldn't say that, in your abdomen, that helps you get rid of that egg. We also have levels of testosterone. Now this gets into women who are struggling with fertility. They've got too much testosterone. Why? Because their ovaries have stopped producing progesterone to balance out that testosterone, and we start to look like guys. We start to grow beards. We start to have hair in strange places. We become very hairy, very fat, very quickly. And apparently that's okay with a lot of the medical society, but for women, it's not okay because it goes against who we were born as, our natural genetic, makeup. It goes against all that stuff, and I'm not getting into gender here, okay? And I'm really a huge fan of, all shapes and sizes, all religions, all genders. So I don't want this to even go down that route. I don't want you to think that that's how this is going. What I'm trying to say is I think that women are struggling in our society to get into balance with their natural cycle. And they don't understand how their cycle works and what is really happening to their bodies. So they go through the month just having their period, and it's just like they're not thinking about it. There's a disconnect between our bodies and what's happening in our lives, and it's a part of our lives. And I think it's important for women, especially, to take back control of their bodies and start to get in touch with their bodies and love themselves and love their bodies for what they are. Our bodies go through so much abuse. There's so many chemicals that we force our bodies to kind of ingest and deal with on a daily basis, whether it's in the water, it's in the air. We really put our bodies through a lot. So, if you want a complete list of the herbs that I recommend, please message me and I will write them out in a message for you. If you are looking for just, stuff to help the first half of the cycle or the second half of the cycle, there is the website. Again, I think it's called the fertilityshop.com, which I really like, that has different kind of tinctures that have a bunch of different herbs in there. One for the first phase of your cycle and one for the second phase of the cycle. So if you don't want to go out, you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to take this stuff. This kind of scares me. You can get those tinctures, and that will kind of make it easy for you to take them and to know when to take them, because there's a phase 1 and phase 2. So I hope this video is helpful. I just want the women in our society to love, to feel loved, to feel sexy, to feel like they're fertile, that they can really get, it's our birthright to be able to have children, basically. And a lot of us can't. And a lot of us can't because we have taken so much, and we have been taught to take birth control and a lot of different pills and chemicals that have hurt us. And, everybody has different beliefs. So if this doesn't touch you, then, I respect everyone. So if they decide they want to take birth control, that's good for them. Like I said, I took it. But as soon as I went off it, I had major problems, and it's not something, you don't want to shut your body down that has a natural function. It's like killing a tree that has a natural function. It naturally bursts open in the springtime. Would you want to shut down the seasons? No, because that's the natural cycle of things. That's how things go. Messing around with that is an ego-based thing. It's somebody who's in, wants too much power, and so many women, I feel like, are struggling to get pregnant. They want to get pregnant, but they can't. There's also another product called the DCI, which I've heard a lot about for women who have PCOS. Personally, I think the best way to go is for those women specifically who have PCOS, is to cut one meal out of their diet. And by cutting it out, meaning, make this smoothie, at dinner, early, and don't eat a full dinner. If you can stop eating before 7 or 6 even, you'll lose several pounds a day. No cookies, no ice cream, no brownies, unless it's really before 6 o'clock and you're not eating the entire box, or the entire tub of ice cream. I don't really believe in having a lot of boundaries as far as diet, but for women specifically who have PCOS, I strongly recommend cutting out one meal and replacing it with something else, with a smoothie, with some nuts, something very, very light. And then the rest of the day, a big breakfast and a smaller lunch, or a small breakfast and a big lunch, or in a couple of snacks. But that should be the diet. And then the focus should be, less wheat-based. Our society is very wheat-based, and a lot of people are on gluten diets now. So this is not it's not going to come as a shock to anybody. But if you're having toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, pancakes for dinner, which is kind of a lot, but or like pizza for dinner, you've had wheat 3 times in that day. That's a lot of wheat. So replace it with something else that's not wheat, and cycle your diet and change things up. And during the time that 2 weeks before you have your period, you're probably going to feel more hungry, and you're probably going to want, the comfort food. You know, you're going to probably want those things. But it's during those times that your body actually needs more vitamins and nutrients, which is why you're hungry. So if you eat a lot of really good vegetables and stuff during that time, you will be rewarded with a much easier period. Um, and then the only bone that I'm going to give out for the guys here, if they're watching this video, is that, and the women, this is good for the women too, you're horniest during your ovulation time, which is natural because you're ovulating and your body is waiting for that sperm, okay, to get you pregnant. And then your body is also, just before you have your period, your body's like, well, wait a minute, there's no sperm yet. We got to get on it, you know, and then you just go crazy, you're like rabbits, you know, just before your period. So, guys, if you want to get laid, those are the times, typically day 14, 15, or 16 of a woman's cycle, or even during the month. And then towards the end of the month, sometimes in the beginning, because I know sometimes we're switched, that is when, you know, she's going to be horniest too. And for guys, I want you to be cognizant of the fact that during the drop-off, I call it the drop-off, when estrogen drops off around day 14 or 15, that's a time that women can go a little bit crazy, okay? That's a time to avoid confrontation. Honey, can you take out the trash? Sure, sweetie. Like, I'll do it. No problem. That's not a time to mess with her. You know, that's not a time, you know, and women, this is not a time to even pick fights. This is a time or pick an argument. This is a time to retreat to solitude, to, you know, close the bathroom door and stay in there for a few minutes if you need to calm down and to be calm, you know, because hormones can go wacky at this time. This is not a time to go camping in the woods and take a road trip together during around the times just before the period, during the period, or the ovulation time. Circle your calendar. Those are not vacation times, you know. Those are times when, and typically American Indians, they used to go and have their period separate from the guys. And that was probably worked really great. I mean, our society can't do that. I understand if you have a family, you've got a husband, you've got to care about him and show him some love. I get that. But I'm talking about just noticing, you know, you can plan things, you know, on a calendar, you can plan ahead. If you have a calendar like this or something similar, even if you want to get a big calendar, whatever, it doesn't matter what calendar you use. I use this because I can take it everywhere. I take it to the doctor's office and I write things down in here, and I make sure that I think ahead as far as my cycle, you know. And in people with families, I think it's important, especially more than anybody, because there's extra pressures. And you don't have as much time to just have your period in peace. You know, you got somebody crying, you got somebody that you need to change their diaper, you got somebody who needs dinner, you know. And for those women who are trying to do it all, you know, cooking every single meal, every single day, you know, during the times that you're ovulating, order pizza, order out, you know, go out to dinner. During the times that you're having your period, same thing. You know, just, you know, try to make some frozen meals ahead of time that you made, that you know that are healthy, organic, or whatever. Put them in the freezer for the times that you have your period and you don't feel like doing shit. Just take them out, warm them up, you know, or eat a very light dinner. Make a smoothie, you know. You don't have to, and maybe your kids wouldn't like that, but you don't have to be superhuman, because that also doesn't teach your girls about their cycle, and this disconnect between the girls and not understanding the cycle, I feel is huge in our society. I mean, if I went out today and I interviewed 10 women about their cycle, they're not going to know. I don't think. I mean, I've met very few people who understand this. And so, I mean, online, maybe doctors, naturopaths, they understand. And then as far as herbs, even less. Which herbs used to be the number one thing, you know, 20,000 years ago. That's what they took. That was the medicine. That's how they got through their monthly cycle. That's how they dealt with having a period, you know. it's the simplest way to heal yourself. And like I said, this maca product is really awesome. Anything with maca is awesome, but this tincture is really good. There's also some really interesting videos on how to make tinctures, how to make your own tinctures. And I'm going to be experimenting with some of those down the road. So, feel free to follow up for my videos and watch my videos and see how I do it. But there's a lot of ways to make tinctures online. Um, but if that scares you, you can I got these at Whole Foods. This motherwort, the research that I've done about this herb is astonishing. Every female in your house should have one of these bottles tucked away in their own personal medicine cabinet. Go to Whole Foods and buy one for your daughter if you have a teenage daughter. Teach her about this herb. Go online and do the research. Google motherwort, and it'll tell you all about it. It'll tell you everything you need to know. And for young girls, I want them to be, especially if they do sports, okay? This is for the young girls who play a lot of soccer and do a lot of running. Their bodies are going to need some extra tender, loving care if they're running every single day or they're playing soccer every single day. Their cycle is going to be disrupted. You've all heard about the gymnasts that stop having a period because they basically are working out every single day. And this is for the ladies who work out every single day. You want to be kind to your body. You want to be kind to your monthly cycle, because if you're not, then later on in life you're going to have big problems. You're going to feel really not good. Your health is going to decline really, really rapidly. And because, again, it's like the seasons. You don't want to shut the seasons off. If you shut the seasons off, what is there? The Dark Ages, right? There's nothing without the seasons. So you need to have a cycle. You need to pay attention to the cycle and of what you're doing. And for the young girls who are playing soccer, they're going to need to take some extra vitamins, extra minerals. They might need to be making 1 or 2 smoothies a day. They may need to be eating kale or spinach. And salad is good, but just because you eat a salad doesn't mean you're healthy. The vegetables that are really nutrient rich are those green leafy kale, spinach. There's all kinds of different kale, rapini, mustard greens, radishes, radish leaves. And if you have a girl that's playing soccer, I would probably suggest getting a juicer and juicing. Because if you do that, then that'll really, really help. The other thing is for runners, this is also a really good product. Let me grab it. Hang on just a moment. And I did some research about this product as well. And this is good for women as well, because especially if you're trying to get pregnant, because this product, this is good for so many things. It's this box, okay? It's called Red Panax Ginseng, as you can probably read. And ginseng has an ability to circulate blood into the reproductive organs. So if you don't have any sex drive and you don't feel like doing it anymore with your husband, and you've had a couple of kids and you're like, oh, I don't feel like it, take some of this stuff. Damiana as well. You can buy that at Super Supplements or Whole Foods. Also really good for women who have reproductive problems for circulation. So the Damiana in combination with the Panax ginseng is going to be great for you. But the ginseng for the girls also who are runners, because runners usually take this to have extra energy, okay? When you're young, you already have all that energy. But this not only will help boost their energy, but will help kind of protect their reproductive organs from like shutting down because they're so tired. So this would be really good for the young girls. I take these, and I'll show you. I take these, and they're like liquid vials on the inside. And I just suggested them to a friend of mine who, I'm going to take them out. There's these like little straws. Basically, there's like this little part on the top that you're going to have to, I'm going to use my pen actually, poked into it. And now I can fit the straw in there. and I'll show you. I'm going to take one now, actually, because, and you can take this pretty much all time of day. Some people, if you take it before bed, you're going to be up all night. But this is a great product, especially if you feel tired, you feel worn down. That's all you do. You stick the little straw in there and you drink it. It's less than a shot glass. It goes really quickly, to be honest. Like 2 sips and it's all gone. Okay. This stuff I took after I got into a car accident in March. I felt like crap for about 2 months. And I didn't know what the heck was wrong with me. I had all these blood tests that said I was perfectly healthy. Okay? Really healthy. Glowingly healthy. I showed it to my dad. He's like, there's nothing wrong with you. I said, well, I feel like crap. I don't feel like going to work. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take this stuff. I forgot about it because I had ran out after the last time I had the flu or something. And this is good if you've got a sinus infection. This is good if you've got bronchial problems. If you've been sick for a week or two and you don't feel like you're getting better, this is what you need. The red panax ginseng helps also to repair your adrenal glands, among other things. And your adrenal glands, when you get tired, is what get worn down. Okay, that's why you feel tired. So if you take this, and you don't have to take it just straight. I mean, I take it straight. It doesn't bother me. But if you want to take this little metal top off, you can just take it off with a scissor, and you can pour this into water or tea or hot water. And the ginseng is basically just, if you're sick, if you're like, you've got a head cold, sinus problems, you can't breathe and your ears are popping, okay, take this. Start taking one and see how you feel. This is, I think, 2,000 milligrams. I wouldn't suggest taking anything more than 2,000 milligrams. If you take one in the morning and you're sick and you still feel like you kind of want to boost later on, take a second one. And you can take ginseng, you could continue to take this for months, probably not more than 4 or 5 months, I would suggest. The thing is every time I've taken this, I feel amazing the next day. When I'm sick, I just don't feel as tired. And then I'm like, suddenly I'm better. And so I don't really need to take this for too long. But this is great for young girls who may have lost their period actually because they're running so much and their bodies are worn down. So I strongly suggest these. This box is, I think, $5 at Whole Foods. You can get on pretty much every website. You can get like a whole 30 pack on the Super Supplements website, on different other websites. So that's something else that I suggest. So we covered the whole gamut pretty much. Young girls, girls in their 20s, the people that I think are most at risk for having problems later on is actually the people in their 20s, the young college girls. So this is a shout out to you guys. You know, there's a lot of different, I'm not saying don't use birth control, okay? I want you to know that. There's other options of birth control, condoms. A lot of people don't believe in condoms. They have problems using condoms, but it's a better way to go when considering shutting down the seasons, because in your 20s, you don't care. You want to go out and sleep around with other people, but you don't really understand what you're doing when you're taking that pill. And guys don't understand the pill. Guys don't understand this cycle. So it's good for hopefully for the women that are watching this to share with their husbands, because they can mark the calendar too. And yeah, guys can be kind of rude. Like if you have your period, they can be like, well, are you on your period? It must be, the period police can come by and say all kinds of crap. But you know what? It's better that they know than don't know. I'm just saying that. And the people, like I said, that are at risk of having problems are the women that are in their young 20s that think it doesn't matter. And that's really, they're doing it maybe because their boyfriend wants them to do it, or they're doing it because they think that's what they should be doing. And they don't understand that later they're not going to have enough progesterone to have a period, and they're going to have infertility issues. So women who have infertility issues now, say women who are in their early 30s to late 30s, and they're like, I'm ready to have kids, I'm ready to have a baby, and I can't. And they're doing, in vitro which is such a complicated, crazy process. And they're doing all kinds of, um, drug therapies to try to get their ovaries working again. This is not the way. This is not the way of the future. The way of the future is taking like an herb like this for 2 weeks just before your period and actually feeling like you're alive again. And the yarrow as well. It's such a nourishing herb for women. Um, and the motherwort, like I said, all women should have this herb in their closet. These things are simple to take, and they're much cheaper than any kind of other drug that you could ever get at the drugstore at CVS. Okay, um, this I think was like the motherwort. I think was like $12. The maca tincture was also $12. $12 for good reproductive health, for women who want to get pregnant, for women who are going through, menopause and they have problems. I wouldn't. The maca is good for all different types, but I would say the women who are going through their menopause, you want the DIM. That is what you want, DIM, and you want to add those vegetables in your diet as much as you can. And I would also watch out for any kind of refined sugars, refined wheat. Just be really conscious of those things, because those things are the bad estrogens, not the good estrogens. So when you're going through menopause, think about how you want the good estrogens to be in your body, and you like the phytoestrogens. Those are good estrogens, and those will help balance you out. So anyways, I hope I've touched upon pretty much all age groups and of women, and this is a good conversation to have with your daughter, a good conversation to have with your friends, with your family. If you have family members who don't understand the woman's cycle, please feel free to share my video and show them a calendar. Look at the moon. This has been going, the moon has been around for a very long time. This is not something I'm making up. This is something that, and the cycles of women's bodies have been around since the beginning of time. So this is not something new. But I just wanted to shed a light on it so that people could share it with others. And I hope this helps some of you. Thanks so much, and I wish you a lot of luck. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks.